No doubt. And Pete, Nottingham Forest, obviously off to a very good start, still unbeaten in the Premier League. They're interested in Burnley winger Luca Koleosho. Could they make a move for him in January after not being able to sign him in the summer? Obviously, he has suitors from a lot of different clubs.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of interest in Coloshayo, as you said. Very good young player at Burnley. I think he's very impressive last season in the Premier League before he picked up that long-term injury which sidelined him, and Burnley really missed him. And I think his absence played a big part in them obviously suffering relegation from the Premier League. But he's come back firing this season. Scored a great goal against Leeds United a couple of weeks ago, and it's no surprise that there's interest in the young Italian. Again, I don't think Nottingham Forest will be the only admirers of him. Wolves tried to sign him just before the end of the summer transfer deadline, but were put off by the price tag that Burnley had placed on the left-sided winger. £40 million is a big price tag on him. I think obviously Burnley have moved quickly and tied him down to a new 5-year contract as soon as the transfer window closed. So they'll be expecting big money to even consider letting Colilesho go. So I don't see a move happening for him in January just due to that price tag. Again, a lot will depend on where Burnley are in the league. If Burnley are at the top end of the championship, challenging for promotion back to the Premier League, maybe it might be best for the player to remain at Turf Moor and win promotion back to the Premier League with the Clarets. But if Burnley do not win promotion back to the Premier League this season, I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs ready to take him, Colliesho, away from Burnley come the summer transfer window. So I think unlikely that a deal will happen in January, but I think if he continues to impress in the Championship, there'll be a number of suitors who will be looking at him, but I still think summertime is probably more likely a move could happen for him.
Okay, Paul, Wolves. Gary O'Neill with just 1 point through 5 matches. Certainly someone who's got to be on the hot seat. He has impressed with the style of football he's played both at Bournemouth and for Wolves, but the results just aren't good enough. How much longer does he get to turn this around?
I think he's got time because he's a top young manager. I don't like talking about managers of Gary O'Neill's ilk because he's a manager that I respect. I think he's always measured when he speaks to the press. I think he's had a tough time at Wolves. I think his budget got pulled on him last season. You look at the budget they had compared to everybody else's, it was nowhere near. And you look at this season, he's lost Neto and Kilman, two of his mainstays, his major players. I know Neto was injured for a big part of last season, but actually when you lose those two players and you don't really replace them, it was always going to be tough for them. Listen, it doesn't get any easier for Gary O'Neill either. They've got Liverpool this weekend. Liverpool go to Molineux. I think he's a young manager. He's proved himself. And I think the results that Wolves got last year at the start of the season, they struggled towards the end of the season. So this isn't something new that's happened this season. It's a continuation of the way that they finished last season. So I do worry for them the way... But listen, they went to Villa last week. They're putting a decent performance last week. I don't think it was a 3-1 game. I think they were unlucky to come away getting beaten 3-1. There's not enough there to worry me with Gary O'Neill, because you know what type of manager he is, what type of person he is, the work he puts in on the training ground. I just think sometimes you come up against teams that are better than you and results don't always go your way. Yes, there's going to be pressure on him, and it's going to be even more after this weekend because they're going to have to produce a big performance to get something out of the Liverpool game. I think he's got time there. I do think he's got time. I think the relationship with the owners and the board, the board will have to understand because they haven't given him the money. He hasn't had the funds to strengthen that side and squad like he's needed to.
And in more tough news, Peak, Mosquera has torn his ACL, ending his season. Who might they bring in to replace him in January, or could they go for somebody who's a free agent right now, like a James Tompkins?
Yeah, I think they will be exploring all options right now as well. Mosquera, the injury is a big blow to Gary O'Neill right now because I think they were pretty short in defence as it was even before the Mosquera injury. They sold the captain Max Kilman to West Ham this summer without bringing in a direct replacement for him, so they're probably two defenders short now when you look at Mosquera's injury. So you're looking at the free agent market. There's not many out there, and obviously I think Wolves are a bit more limited because they can't bring in any more non-homegrown players because they have got the quota of the 25-man squad of non-homegrown players. So you're looking at UK free agents right now. James Tompkins is available on a free, having left Crystal Palace in summer. You've also got Paul Dummett on a free transfer after leaving Newcastle after his long association with the Magpies. Probably looking at it, Tompkins would be the more direct replacement for Mosquera. He's a right-sided centre-back himself, while Dummett is left-sided, can play left-back or left-sided centre-back. So you're probably thinking, looking at it that way, Tompkins would be the better fit. But I'm sure Gary O'Neill, he just wants probably more bodies in the building and in the squad, because I think for me, that's been a big problem for Gary O'Neill, even like since last summer, like Paul mentioned. His transfer budget was cut dramatically. He wasn't able to make the signings that he wanted to make. And then to lose your two biggest assets in the summer in Kilman and Neto is a huge blow for everybody connected with Wolves as well. So I think they'll definitely be exploring that free agent market, and whether they decide to go for Tompkins or Dummett, that'll be a decision that the club will have to make. But I do think the squad needs a bit of help in there as well right now. And the other good thing about those two free agents is they would offer a lot of experience as well. They've got a lot of Premier League experience under the belt as well. So I think they'd be good, not just on the pitch, but also probably in the dressing room as well.